But good to have you here. And look, again, those watching on the stream, we're all simpatico here. You see us all wearing the same shirt. And it's in honor of you, Ryan Rowland-Smith, one of our favorites, our weekly guest. And what a cool thing that's going on tonight with the Seattle Mariners in honor of you, the Kangaroo Court.
Well, first of all, guys, it was I'm being serious here. Walking around the corner and seeing you guys rocking the shirts, man. It was very touching. So I appreciate it. Thank you for rocking the shirts, and it means a lot. It does. It was really cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the free shirt.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's my first yellow shirt.
He's got a bill coming your way.
Yeah, I got a Venmo. I'll give you a Venmo. There you go. There's a barcode right here, QR code, whatever kids call it.
Before we get into Mariner stuff, though, how long has this been in the planning? Did they call you up one night and say, Ryan, hey, we're thinking of doing this. What do you think? Did you have input on the art? Did you say, I want the kangaroo to hold a hammer and should be pounding nails?
No, so it's a gavel, and there's just the little, what do you call those, to show a sound, whatever. Yeah. It's got the hyphen shirt on. No, I mean, they sent me the artwork, and I said 100%. I said, can I put my head right here? No, I'm kidding. No, it was, I was like, yeah, sold.
You couldn't have had him wearing a top step shirt or something?
They could have, maybe plug the podcast.
But did they call you 2 weeks ago, a month ago?
So as we all know, there was a bit of drama a couple of weeks ago, when someone, for whatever reason, was ripping on the accent of me in the booth. And after that, a lot of people came out, and which was very moving. We were like, didn't agree. And again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I've said this all along. I don't care. I'm not a victim here, period. Man, it worked out pretty good for me, to be honest with you, because it kind of opened the floodgates to hear what people thought. And it was
love
nice.
Coming your way.
A lot of feedback. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I love this community. So I think the Mariners just wanted to, touch on the special community we have here in Seattle.
Well, it's funny because I've been ripping on your accent for a long time since I've known you. I mean,
that's right.
I've been making fun of you.
Exactly. And, publicly, privately, on text messages.
The cool thing is it's sold out, the section. I was asking.
You can't get a ticket anymore.
Really? I was asking
to go get tickets.
There you go.
Because it's much like the Kings Court. There's a special section here, and I don't know exactly where in the stadium it is, but where you're going to see all of these shirts tonight.
It's not pulling the same rank as Kings Court. I just want to get that clear, by the way, for anyone listening. There is no comparison here. If you remember the Kings Court, man, that was special. Remember? I mean, there was
got bigger and
nuts.
bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So we're small potatoes.
Look, this is baby steps, man.
This
is where we're starting.
That's right.
It gets bigger each year.
Right.
Okay. Listen,
there you go.
Let's not poo-poo this thing. So
right.
I love that it's sold out, because I was asking Lefko, hey, give me the details so I can tell people, hey, buy tickets in section blah, blah, blah. You'll get this shirt. And he's like, sold out. You can't. So there you go. These are immediate collector's items.
Well, I'll say this. Hopefully the Mariners can turn some things around, so we're not seeing yellow shirts just thrown on the ground everywhere on the streets. Blame me.
You brought us there. Let's get there, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you, Dave and I have been pondering back and forth. All right, 4.5 games out now.
Yeah.
Is this a team that you think, at June 15th last year, the Astros were 10 games back, and I would imagine their fan base was sitting there, maybe not as angry as the Mariner fan base because they've got a lot of winning, but maybe just going, you know what, not our year. Not going to happen this year. We're 10 games back, not going to happen. Lo and behold, it happened. Are the Mariners capable of pulling off a comeback like that, whether it's 5.5 games, 6.5, 8.5, 4.5? What do you think?
I'm going to say, I'm going to say it's still June 13th. And I'm still going to say that this team, the identity of this team that we're starting to figure out, which, again, I've said this to you guys last couple of weeks, I still feel like the foundation is going to be pitching. And you've got situation. Now, this is glass half full just for a minute. I'll get to some of the glass half empty here in a minute as well. I'm happy to. If George Kirby looked way better last time out, doesn't have to be that every time. Logan Gilbert coming back. If you can get a second half Bryce Miller. And then if you can get, obviously Brian Wu doing what you're doing, depending on what Luis Castillo, I think this is a good matchup for him against these Guardians, who, by the way, offensively are struggling too. I think this series is going to be a good one, good matchup for the Mariners overall. But the issues are, it's not just in the month of June, right? So you look at the month of June and, the home runs, just absolute home run drought. The only one, obviously Cal's hit 4. Everyone else has had 2 other guys hit 1. And we're at June 13th, by the way. But this is something I'm looking at, some of these trends since May 1st offensively. When you're looking at inside zone contact rate 25th all of a sudden since May 1st. This is a team, look, I know they're built on, I'll get to the home runs in a minute. You have to have some of that contact around the home runs. 49% of the runs are via the home run. Well, they've only hit, the only guy hitting home runs right now is Cal. Right, so they got some issues, man. And all of a sudden, the walk rate's way down. They're, bottom third in walk rate now. Strikeout rate's starting to creep back up again. But I just think you saw enough in the month of April from some of these candidates and from a 1 through 9 perspective that there is enough there offensively. Doesn't have to be this top 5 like we saw in the month of April. There is enough. And if you combine that with that second half pitching, I think they're going to be okay. Plus, by the way, look, the AL West, man, no one's going to run away with this AL West, I'll tell you right now.
Well, I don't want to be negative about this, but like the five starters right now, which one are you the most concerned with? Because I feel like they're all gonna make it back by the end of the season, but who concerns you in that starting rotation?
Can I use one that's on the IL currently, in Bryce Miller?
Sure.
I'm concerned in the sense of, well, depending on what they do moving forward, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you guys when he first came off the IL. I was a little shocked how he came back, just because of mentally, whether he's healthy or not. Look, Bryce Miller, we know how good he can be, man. I mean, we saw the 2024 version of him, and we also saw the version when he first came up. He should be one of the best starting pitchers in the game. And he's just not there mentally, and he'll be the first to tell you that. Now, I know he's having the elbow issues, and that's why he's back on the IL and everything else. If you can get to a place, you can spend this month of June getting him right upstairs where he feels like he has that conviction, and he feels like, you know what, I can get get on that challenge, in that challenge mode in the middle of the strike zone. Because right now, and after that start down in Anaheim, even from inning number 1, it was this feeling of, you know what, man, if I'm going to throw this pitch, I have to bury it. I have to overcompensate because I'm not all the way back. I'm not all the way there mentally. So he's the one who, for me, concerns me the most. And just because I know what he's capable of doing, how good he can be. So I think that these next couple months are going to be crucial. Like, put it this way, like Walker Buehler, I use him as an example. Now, Walker Buehler, there's 2 versions of him, and because of injuries too, by the way. So, like, pre-Tommy John for Walker Buehler, he was fastball right at the top of the strike zone, swing and miss. Comes back from TJ when he was in the Dodgers last year, and he's with the Red Sox now, and didn't have it. Did not have that pitch, and he had to reinvent himself basically. But it was more so not so much physically reinvent himself, but mentally he had to switch gears. Now he was dealing with that more recently too. Like the last couple of weeks, I remember hearing him talk on post games, talking about, I just don't have that conviction. I'm lost right now. But he's a lot more vocal. I know Bryce can be vocal. I just feel like the same's going on right now with Bryce, where he's a little bit lost. What option do I go to with 2 strikes? I have to make this pitch perfect, as opposed to getting on that good, being aggressive in the zone. So if he can get beyond that and just find himself again and just have that, where he's walking around with that presence, I think he's going to be okay.
Some of what we talked about earlier is in looking at, they've been losing a lot of games. But they've been doing it in different ways. Mm-hmm. It's not, the hitting just isn't coming through. They've had games, hitting comes through, but the pitching gets blown up. Maybe the starter has a great game, but the bullpen blows up. Their defense at times has been really, really choppy. So they've been taking turns finding ways to lose. And when I look at that, injuries are one thing. But when I'm seeing, like, fundamentals, seeing guys getting picked off first base, guys making base running errors, booting the ball, I'm looking at the manager. How much do you look at the coaching overall? Not just Dan, but Edgar and everybody else that's part of, execute the fundamentals.
Yeah.
We can worry about a guy who's got a bad arm and this guy's hurt, that guy's hurt. But how much do you point to coaching when you see inconsistency in fielding and middle relief and hitting and just it's kind of the hodgepodge of how to lose?
I think a situation where hold on a second. I thought this was.
You thought
this
was
was
nice drink?
Yeah, I was like, hold on a minute.
He was bringing you a margarita?
Yeah, I was like, appreciate it, legend, thank you. I was like, hold on a minute. Like,
now you're like, it's just water, thanks.
Yeah, no, this is perfect.
By the way,
I'm in a big night tonight. I'm
that's
pitching.
Tim.
I'm pitching. What am I saying?
Tim says you're not Australian enough, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have a conversation after this one. Hang on. All right, guys, I'm done. See ya. I walk over here. Sorry, what were we talking about? Different. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think you're talking about some of the inconsistencies and just the sloppy play and everything.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, a couple things happen when you are under the pump and things are not quite those 2 games of 3 in that series, and you feel like everything's balanced. You start pressing. Everyone knows that. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that. I think at some point, and look, unless you're behind the scenes, we're really not going to know this and usually what happens is if there's, say, a team meeting, right, and Dan Wilson addresses it face-to-face, eye contact with the whole clubhouse. Hey, look, we're in a bit of a skid. You don't find out there's that team meeting after, like, they've won a game. Oh, we had this team meeting and so on, right? Yeah. But that's really, really important. Just having that face-to-face. In regards to Dan Wilson, that's something that comes into play here. When you get to the place where you kind of understand who you are as an individual player and as a team, where you're at in the early parts of June, and you kind of know what's around you, what the vibe's like, that's when it's important, man, because I'm telling you, at these times, when it's 3:15 right now, when they take team batting practice and you've got these rock piles out there, that's when all of a sudden those June conversations start to rattle around, and you have to make sure you nip that in the bud, especially when you're talking face-to-face with your players and everything else, because that's part of the managerial part. Now, in regards to some of the bullpen options, this is one area, and if you dive into this team, if you want to address, especially as we get to the trade deadline, the bullpen, man, I mean, it's wearing thin there in some of those middle innings. It really is.
Yeah, you had a conversation I thought was great, and I think it was on Top Step, and I think it was Spire. You had, I think, Trent Thornton up there. And
Saucedo,
Yeah, and that was, things were going well at that point and everything, and you were talking about all the things that they do in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And basically what it was is that, they basically teach them to be yourself, right? And are they straying away from that a little bit right now, do you think?
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because it just reminded me, like, and especially even being out here, I know we're out by the bullpen right now, and again, you get to June, July, and you're sitting in on that bench out there in the bullpen, and it just takes one. It doesn't mean he's a bad dude, but that one, that tone you set when you're talking about the team or talking about, you flash up because you're looking out at the Welcome to T-Mobile Park sign, you see all the numbers, and you see one of your buddies up there or someone who, you've just gotten off a road trip with, and you're looking up and they're hitting 180. And then all of a sudden, oh, man, God, this guy, this guy's starting again or whatever. It's these little conversations. When that happens, it's never a good space to be when, I talked about those guys. Yeah. When you have to get on that mound and warm up to go into a game and you have that kind of tone where it's like, man, that glass half empty and that the guys around you, the voices around you, it changes everything. And that's where I think that's where the sort of trickle-down effect of leadership comes in. Because, I've been on teams, really bad ones, and I've been on good ones. And I've had really good leadership, whether it be from a manager or whether it be from a player, that you just don't have those conversations out there because it starts in that clubhouse.
What do you make of Julio's season so far? You look at his numbers, just raw numbers. He's on fire in June. He's hitting 375 in June. He hit 282 in the month of May. Yet, if you watch every game, he's beaten the ball into the ground. Mm-hmm. He's got a number of infield hits. Now, the last game, he had 2 doubles. I was glad to see him get the ball in the air and drive it. Do you feel
like
with
2 strikes too?
Which was great to see. So it was kind of weird. Like, he's hitting. He leads the team in hits. Mm-hmm. You look at he's getting on base. He's not doing damage. These singles. Yeah. He's Ichiro. He's infield singles, and he's hitting the ball hard, but he's beating it right into the ground. The last game, nice doubles there. Does he seem like a guy who's like he's right there, ready to hit that hot streak? Because I guess technically he has been hot. A lot of hits are mounting up, but he's not. There's no damage there.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, just the biggest thing with him. Well, 2 things. Number one, Chase, which is obvious, and that goes for any hitter. But number 2 with him is just that ground ball. Man, he falls into this pattern where I don't know what it is. Whether it's a mechanical thing with his swing path, where he's catching the ball, and you can look at certain pitches and everything else. Some breaking balls obviously on the ground as well. But that ground ball, that amount of hits. Well, first of all, when you hit the ball that hard, you are going to get hits on the ground, right? If you are going to just that rebound off that bat, man, it just gets through holes quicker, right? So you can live with that a little bit, but you don't want him to hit the ball on the ground straight up. Because that same ball that gets through that, that between that second and first baseman, and he's like clapping over at first base, if that just launches just another 10 degrees, dude, that's hitting the wall. That's extra bases. And we all know extra bases, singles, whatever. tip your cap. You can hit a single off me, especially because he's swinging early. If I'm facing Julio, he gets that through the infield single. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You feel okay about it?
I feel okay. He's one of those guys. You'll feel okay. Because when that minute that all of a sudden that launch changes for him, the way he hits, it's either going out of the ballpark or all of a sudden you're pitching with runners in scoring position.
So is that a mechanics thing, do you think?
It could be. I think he has, by the way, like now you can look at swing pass. Now I've had a nice little deep dive. Too much time on my hands at the Residence Inn in Secaucus looking at swing path on different headers. But it's amazing, man. He has, for as athletic as he is, you want to have that attack angle moving up as the ball, when the ball approaches, you want to have that up, Ted Williams talked about that years and years and decades ago. You want to have that, that upper attack angle. Well, he has one of the flatter swings, especially for a guy who, quote unquote, power hitter.
Yeah.
Man, it's a flat swing. And so, yes, it's a mechanical thing. However, he is the way he hits, and he is a line drive hitter, that, he can get away from it. He can still backspin a ball with that swing path.
Hey, we joke around about all of this, and you're always very self-effacing and everything. But, like, for your family and, like, all the people back home, I mean, how cool is that? Like, what's your mom must be just, like, bursting.
Oh, no, my mom, she loves it, man. Like, she's dialed in, like, absolutely loves it. But until you get off the plane, I said this to my father-in-law, actually, who, he grew up, my brother-in-law played in the big leagues, we were teammates. And so he's dealt with the showcase stuff with his son. He's dealt with the college baseball, the draft, College World Series. Dave Arzman won a College World Series with Rice. So he's been through all that, the youth, all the way up to the big leagues. And he asked me questions like that. And I'm like, until you get off the plane in Australia and you get amongst it, and you realize, like, oh, really? No one cares about baseball over here. I had to literally, I don't want to throw my sister under the bus here, because, look, my older sister, she thinks it's, great that I'm, she was a former athlete and everything else. But when I said, hey, like, I'm the Mariners have offered me to do X amount of games in the booth this year. She goes, well, weren't you already doing that? Like, I don't get it. Like, what the
She's like, big deal.
Yeah.
So, in other words, you will always be humbled.
Oh my God, will I? Jeez. Oh yeah, big time. And the other thing is too, like, and again, my father-in-law came to Australia for Christmas one year. My in-laws came, and he's like looking through the paper, going, "Oh man, I didn't see it," because someone signed a 6-year deal.
Yeah.
Like, not a superstar, but just, the tier below. I'm like, do you honestly think they're going to have that article about that in the newspaper? You kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to cover that. No one cares. Unless it's like some PED scandal or like, A-Rod dating Madonna. You know what I mean? Like, that's really the other part too, and not to keep, yabbering on about this, but we're not in the, I'll tell you what, man, the NBA captured it. I know I did over here, but you're talking I never dribbled a basketball in my life, yet I could tell you the starting five for this team and that team. They just, because of Jordan and the card trading and everything else. Yeah. And baseball was trying to catch on to that. So people started to identify players. I just think that, with kids these days, you need to get that MLB The Show, because if they're not playing that, no one has a clue about baseball or whatever. So I live two different lives, man. I go home and no one cares. Like, seriously, my family cares. My family thinks it's cool, and I'm not so I don't want to say the word on air, but kicker, back home, which I probably would have been if I wasn't playing baseball.
But that's got to be kind of nice, though, kind of refreshing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're saying in Australia, there's not like baseball fields everywhere?
No way. I tell you what, man. When I first looked out the window flying into LAX, it was overwhelming. I'm like, look at all the baseball fields. You diamonds cut out. I'm like, oh man, everyone here plays baseball.
So how did you get drawn to baseball in Australia?
Videotapes, 93 World Series.
Were you the weird kid like everybody else?
My sisters did different sports. My older sister was a really good surfer. She traveled all over the place. Sponsored by like Roxy, Oakley. She was like really good surfer, but she was a good athlete. Both my sisters played softball. I was really into American sports, man. Like the NFL. I thought it was so cool. Like, I'd watch that and go, and this is unreal. Believe it or not. And we're talking. There was a movie, NFL Rocks. There was this movie that came out. I remember I used to watch that over and over. It was like this full, like, I swear to God. And I was really into American sports. And then one of the dads like, I got these World Series games. Does you want to watch them? I wasn't even playing baseball or softball or anything. Like, I was around softball. I wasn't playing baseball. And I put them in, and I was like, man, I'm hooked, man. The Blue Jay, that Sky Dome. Like I kept watching it, and my mum's like, "Hey, look, do you want to play baseball? It's 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning." I said, "Yeah, but I got rugby." Like my dad was the strength coach for a rugby team. I said, "What am I going to tell Dad?" He's like, what? And I remember calling him on the phone. Parents are split up, and he goes, "Oh, call your dad, call your father, whatever." Like, because my parents did not like each other. And I called him. I said, "Dad, I'm not playing footy this year. I'm not playing rugby." He goes, "Excuse me?" I was like trembling on the phone like this, and that was it, man. I was 12 years old, got a late start. That's why when I see these kids who are 8 years old and they're already doing like plyo ball routine, I'm like, no, just have fun, like. I got a late start, man. I was just into it. So
yeah, and now you're teaching young kids.
Yeah. I will say this.
Next gen?
Yes. Yeah, I got camps coming up this summer, and I talk about that all the time. You don't have to be that best kid. Just love it. But
where do they go for more info?
Go to nextgenbaseball.com. NXTGENbaseball.com.
You got Brian Wu coming out?
I got Brian Wu coming on August 4th. We're going to camp.
That's cool. Can I show
awesome.
up? Can I watch?
No autographs. All right. No,
I don't want.
No.
I just want to pepper him with questions.
Oh yeah, no. Come along. But no, I will say this real quick. If I grew up in, this is what's so weird when I think about it. If I grew up in the States, man, it would have been way harder because I was a big fish in a small pond, man. Like once I hit 16, I was bigger and stronger. I was like, no one else played. I was like, sweet, I stand out.
And now look at you. You got a night in honor of you.
How about that? Yeah,
you got Kangaroo Court coming up tonight. Mariners hosting the Guardians, and they're honoring our buddy Ryan Rowland-Smith. Are you on the TV broadcast tonight?
TV broadcast, yeah.
All right. So he'll be on the TV broadcast. You're going to see a lot of these yellow shirts out there with the kangaroo with a hammer for some reason again. And no, very cool thing, man. I love that they did this for you. This is really cool.
This is fun. Thanks for having me out here, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
There he is, Ryan Rowland-Smith, everybody. Always great stuff from him. Coming up, Jameis Winston on